Greetings, alumni. Welcome to Romance University, the Professor's Lounge. You're the alumni. My name is Benjamin Ayres. You call me the Chancellor, and today you can call me Mr. Sicky Pants because I'm not feeling well. Razor blades, Dayquil, Advil, pain. But I couldn't find a substitute teacher, and I'm not going to leave my students just hanging out here with nobody to teach them. Got some great questions, and I want to say thank you for those. And I'm going to start with one right away. This comes from Becky. Becky says, do writers ever write a movie with particular actors in mind and write for them specifically? Oh, let me take my swallow. That's a good question. Yes, I would say pretty much every every writer writes with an actor in mind, because you could imagine it's easier to write when you're picturing an actor doing it. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean, for example, if you're writing a Hallmark movie, you don't always have to be thinking about one of us. You could even just be thinking, how would Brad Pitt do this? But you kind of have to have some type of actor in mind. And I've heard many times, like, I wrote this with you in mind, but, Paul Campbell got it. And that's just sort of the way it goes. Writers will make suggestions, but they're not the ones, again, I'm talking in the Hallmark world, they're not the ones. Unfortunately, they get to do the casting, but they can make the suggestions and say that I think that this would be a great fit. Um, Out in the studio world, if you write and direct and produce your own movie, you can put whoever you want in it, and then based on schedules, you will get that actor. So I've heard many times, like, I've got this great role that I think you'd be good for. Now, Nikki DeLoach and Megan wrote True Justice, and with that, they had me in mind to play DJ Quinn, which DA Quinn. Whew. I'm here though, He's sick and he's here. What's my character's name? I'm the Chancellor. Okay. You had another great question here. This comes from Magda. She says, do you ever refuse a role, and is there a character you would love to play? That's a great question. Yes, I do refuse roles. I get asked to audition for all kinds of roles, and I now steer clear from some types of horror or types of, like, I love a psychological thriller, but an indie horror film where I play a serial killer or anything like that, I just say no to them. I won't audition for them. I've got two young girls, and I think about sort of what I put out in the world now. And as a young actor, I would have loved to have done stuff like that. But yeah, I find it disturbing. Now, under the right circumstances, Paul Thomas Anderson calls me up. I would think more about it, obviously, because I would be in the hands of a master that I would trust um, their process, and we could talk a lot about it beforehand. So, yeah, there are roles that I don't entertain anymore, and I will just say I don't even want to be involved in the project. And there's a big project that's coming out soon, and they asked me a couple times to come out for it, and I just want to do it. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Sometimes I can't really get my head around, like, hasn't this story been told a bunch already? I don't really want to get involved with it. So there you go. What character would you love to play? I'd also still love to play that character. I like darker roles. Is there a character I would love to play? I mean, hmm, probably should have thought more about this before I jumped on here, but honestly, I'm pretty happy with all of the roles I've gotten to play. I like playing the slick a-hole lawyer. I like playing the bad guy, and I love playing the romantic lead. I love getting to let loose and do comedy. I would like to do big feature film and work on like a massive cinematic scope type film. That's what I'd like. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, here's a long one. Okay, this is from Ellie. Hi, Ellie. Thank you so much for this. Hey, Ben, thank you for doing these classes. It's very much appreciated. You're welcome. And they seem to get better as you go along. Oh, thank you. Like this last one felt more relaxed. Thank you. More you, as kind of came across in the original live lounges. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the original live lounges were easier because I was kind of with a friend. This one, I'm just kind of. I think I realized too that it's better that I look at you, the audience, right now, and I was sort of like pretending I was like the very first one, at least. If you go back and watch it, I think what I did, I can't even remember, was like pretend the classroom's kind of behind me, but um, staying on you guys and just sort of riffing, I think, is what you want to hear and kind of what I feel comfortable doing. So I appreciate that. But I'd like to ask about working with kids. You've played a dad in a couple Hallmark movies, most noticeable A Blue Ridge Mountain Christmas, Falling for Vermont, as well as Cherry Lane. What does that look like for you, interacting with these children on offset? You know, good question. Thank you for that. It is a very, it's unique. Listen, there's no other job or career a kid can have. They don't just get to say, I'm missing school today because I want to be a doctor or a plumber or you name it. I'm a mechanic now, Dad, so I'm not going to school, but I want to be an actor. Sweet. You get to miss school and go work with adults. It's a very unique situation. I also joke, and I know you've heard me say this before, but acting's so easy, they let kids do it. They let kids not have an education and just leave school for the day to go and do our job. So there's a lot to be said about that, though. And I love when they're on set. Most of the ones I work with are very old soul, and they are able to get to where they need to get to a lot quicker than we are. They're just present. They'll just stand and listen and respond. And they know their lines really well. They come very prepared, and they have very big personalities. And I love working with them because they keep you on your toes big time. And most of them are really good. It's not often you get a bad child actor. They're all pretty talented to, have the opportunity now to be working in a movie or something. They've risen up quickly, and I love getting that opportunity to play in the sandbox with them, so to speak. And I know I try to take the responsibility on of making them feel very comfortable and feel like they can look up to me like a father on set, because on camera we're going to be pretending we are. So I'd like to ask them their favorite books and what they like to do and their hobbies and talk about those types of things. Um, yeah, it's a pretty special thing, really, to get to go to work with kids, and they're very protected as well. We'll only work. Don't quote me on this because I don't know the exact schedule, but there is a schedule for children. So it's like you can't work them for more than 45 minutes straight without a break where they would go and do some homework. So there's usually a private tutor on set with them every day. They usually only have an 8-hour day. And at the end of their day, so you've got to shoot all of their stuff in a certain window every day. We will be there for 12, 13, maybe 14 hours. 8 hours, they're gone. Um, and on a call sheet, what you will see beside the child actor's name is a little pumpkin. And we call that, I mean, I guess it's the Cinderella thing, but they pumpkin at, and then we say whatever time it is. So it's like, all right, Elliot pumpkins at 8 p.m. We started working at noon that day. So at 8, he's got to be done. And then we'll still film for another 5 hours after that. So you're always aware of your pumpkin time for that child because you've got to work around their schedule. Speaking of pumpkins, something spice latte. You guys, thank you so much for the questions. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go get some water, and I could at least have water up here and drinking that with me. But you guys are the best. Thank you. Keep sending me your questions because they're really good, and I love thinking more about it. It actually helps me to think about these things that I don't really ever think about, but I love kind of talking about them. So thank you. Class is dismissed.